Hello and welcome to another Maximum Power Up video. Today it's going to be having a look back at my favourite magazine title of all time, all these years on. I'm going to be looking at issue 1 of Superplay from November 1992. Superplay, in my opinion, was the best magazine for the Super Nintendo. Around the time there were quite a lot of different magazines for Super Nintendo and a lot of multi-format mags as well that obviously covered it. It's always been my favourite console as well. Obviously you could see there a few of my Super Nintendo games behind me. So Superplay, you had it coming out the first Thursday of every month, lasted for 47 issues. Luckily I've got them all and the Superplay Gold as well. The main reason I've chose this is because, well, 20 years later, the final issue of Nintendo Gamer was released. Now, this is obviously follow-on really from Superplay because it was an independent Nintendo magazine. I know you have the official Nintendo magazine, which has recently just folded, well, the end of last year. So obviously that was quite a big deal because, again, that had been going for a very long time. So even though when Superplay ended, the same company went on to obviously do a N64 magazine and also covering the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U, and then I'd say it ended with this. So these two magazines here covering 20 years, well, spanning 20 years I should say. So anyway, Super Nintendo had only recently just come out in the UK when Superplay was launched. The big thing for Superplay was it covered the import scene, like quite in depth as well as anime/manga titles as well. I don't have the pin badge that came with this sadly anymore. I remember getting like the entire lot of these Superplays from a guy over in Burnley, getting the train. God, it must have been over 10 years ago now to go and pick them up. So anyway, just having a quick flip through. First thing we see here is a 2-page advert for Acclaim, a company that went under just over 10 years ago. They had quite a few big licenses. We had obviously the WWF license, should say, Spider-Man, Simpsons as well. So, we had, well, a lot of, like I say, key series, but they weren't really that great in all honesty. So, also, just show you there, showing again some of the early manga titles as well. Like I say, they were getting really popular in the UK at that time. So, as the same with every single month, meet the team, a little bit about them. The big thing that always jumps out and what I always remember is the artist Will Overton. He obviously has this great art style. So his artwork was really well known and made the magazine stand out on the news shelf. And they also got him to do the artwork for the final issue of Nintendo Gamer, which looks absolutely stunning. So just back to Superplay, just having a quick flick through it there. With, again, straight away looking at a load of key games that are about to come out, going through all the different companies there. We've got a picture here of Lost Vikings, which is an absolutely fantastic game, which I think came out about 6 months later. It's also talk about every month the Superplay hot list. So we've got Parodius, Super Celeste, Prince of Persia, Street Fighter 2, Zelda 3 and Contra 3 or Super Probotector. Again, they are really, really good games, all these years on. We've also got, just move through this, get to it right. Feature on issue 1, it was looking at the 3 models of a Super Nintendo. So the Super Famicom, the Japanese one, the Super Nintendo NTSC, and also the UK one. So obviously it's looking at the different pros and cons of buying them, what the differences were, and I think that was just another thing that Superplay did well. It was obviously looking more at the technical aspect because, again, as I said, they covered the import scene really, really well, and there's loads of games that only came out either in Japan or America, so having that sort of guide was really handy. we even put that into the Super Play Gold magazine as well, because with Super Play Gold it was seen that sort of as a starter guide, you know, for new Super Nintendo owners. And it also tells you about different converters to use and stuff like that. So anyway, carry on through the magazine. First review, an absolutely fantastic game, Super Mario Kart. All these years on, you know, still one of the top titles. I'm sure like nearly everyone's played it. I'd be very surprised if you hadn't. They gave out like 93%. And again, like most magazines at the time, sorry about this, breaking it down into, you know, presentation, gameplay, things like that. Just moving on. Next one, Another World, or Out of This World, was its import title. I remember having this on my Atari ST and playing it to death. It looked absolutely stunning. I don't actually own Another World just yet. It's one that I keep looking at, you know, picking up, but I know that they've done the anniversary edition on PSN, which you can get really cheap. So maybe it's just a case of picking up for that rather than spending, what, 10-15 quid on Super Nintendo version. This is what I was on about before. A claim with the Simpsons license. Now, Bart's Nightmare, I remember playing it, wasn't that impressive. In fact, I'd be very, well, I'm very surprised at the 91% score there. I mean, the only Simpsons game that I absolutely loved was the arcade one. Things like the Amiga games, you know, the Simpsons Amiga games, and the Game Boy ones as well, just never really did anything for me at all. We've got a review here for a game that I do like, but it's not great on Super Nintendo, Super Pang. They've given that 72%, and it's probably because it's only one player. And the thing is with Pang, it is a lot more fun two-player. I remember playing that again, I think it was on the Atari ST growing up. I've not played it for a long time though. We also have an advert here for Total magazine. That was again quite popular, lasted a bit longer than Super Play, but I think that ended after about 60 issues. Just obviously going through a bit more. Something that's still in this magazine, those old competition scratch card type things, if anyone actually remembers those, you know, it'd be like matches up, ring up, win a prize, you know, rack up a massive phone bill, get absolutely rollicked off your parents, you know. Just move on. We've also got a guide here for Street Fighter 2, because at the time, obviously it's one of the biggest games on the Super Nintendo. Obviously, soonish after, I should say, you got Street Fighter 2 Turbo, so obviously then you could be the bosses as well, which was like, you know, the big selling point, and it had a lot more speed to it. Just quickly whiz through this. Speaking of Street Fighter 2, we've got a review there, 94%. I remember a friend importing that and paying like £100 for it, but it's one of those that he spent so much time on, you know, back in the early 90s. And then you've got a few more smaller reviews for games now that have come out in the UK, so Castlevania 4, Krusty's Funhouse, F-Zero, Joe and Mac. And then again, these were like, you know, the UK launch titles, SimCity, Pilot Wings, R-Type, Super Tennis. I've got a few of these because they're also in the Super Play Top 100 that I've been trying to collect. At the moment I stand at 49, so I still need number 51, so still a while to go, but getting there bit by bit. This is what I mentioned before, Super WWF or Super WrestleMania, 74%. It's not that good a game. I preferred the follow-up, which is Royal Rumble. At the time I was like mad on Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, so obviously this is one Super Nintendo wrestling game that I do own, and I absolutely love that one, just having a Royal Rumble mode. So, you know, well, it's not bad as a starting wrestling game, but it's not fantastic. Final Fight got reviewed there, given that 86%. Sad thing is, it's only one player, so again, it's another title which would benefit from that two-player mode, you know. So I think that's what lost it a lot of marks. And Then towards the end we have What Kart, that featured every month. You know, your small quick reviews, and that changed quite a few different styles over the issues, you know, but used to break it down into the different genres. And then as more and more games came out, we just had to do like A to F one issue, then like G onwards, and so on, then back to A again, and you know, on most, well, in most magazines as well, you have a reader survey trying to get used to what they want from the readers, you know, sort of like what they're into and things like that. And then this always makes me laugh. It was how to write a professional sounding letter to them, and they did, you know, a nice way of doing it, and one completely crazy, just again with spelling mistakes and stuff like that. And it's just one of the things that does stand out. So anyway, that was issue 1 of Superplay. Just quickly before I wrap this up, what was on about before with Nintendo Gamer, they featured a look back at the 20 years of the magazine. So it was a really nice touch, this. So straight away they've got the a small interview with the editor of issue 1 of Superplay. They've got all the different covers that you can be seeing there. So again, more staff who worked on the magazine. James Leach who edited Superplay and also Games Master. And then it goes on to N64 magazine, like I mentioned. I never bothered with that because I went down the PlayStation route. And then it goes on to NGC and onwards to N-Gamer, and ending at Nintendo Gamer. So it went through every single issue, showing every single cover, which, like I say, was a really nice touch there. So there you have it. These two magazines going, well, 20 years in between them. I'm really happy to have them, and like I say, I'm still lucky to have the first issue of the official Nintendo magazine, or Nintendo magazine system, and also now the last ever one as well. Again, into magazines, I just always like having a look back at them, reliving memories. And again, keep checking out the show, keep checking out the videos, and I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.